So I'll say, you think the universe came from a green turtle, yeah? I'll say,
it's all I believe, but if I were to offer you an explanation of the origin of the universe, okay, a silly explanation from a green flying turtle, now, if you don't accept it, you have to give me your reasons why you don't accept it.
Okay, I'll say, because recent experiments in science, I hear, depict that the subatomic particles and subatomic levels act very strangely, yeah? We get particles jumping into existence.
From what?
From space-time fabric.
That's something?
Yes, it is something.
So it didn't come from nothing?
That's
so it
correct.
doesn't support you?
No, it doesn't.
Right, so it supports me. It comes from something.
No. It guides me in the direction of saying, when we look very deep, we don't see green turtles. We see subatomic particles.
Yeah, well, still, it comes from something.
That's very true.
Good. But so how is that supporting your claim?
Because
offer explanation which supports your claim.
Okay, because when we look at it, we see, oh look, this looks very odd. Things are just jumping into existence.
They don't jump into existence. They don't just jump into existence, they come from, it's a transformation from one form to the other. While they were not in this reality, they were in a different reality because there were quantum fluctuations. Yep.
Well, I'm saying, if you think you understand the quantum rules or whatever,
Do you?
No.
Don't talk about it then.
Let's
talk about something that we both can understand and have a common ground.
I agree. The planets. Let's learn how the planet came into existence. The Earth, the sky, the grass, the trees, the animals. We know about this, evolution and planet theory, but yeah. I think we're done, aren't we?
No, we're not. Why do you not accept an explanation that the universe just is, it came from green turtles? Rather than your explanation, it came from nothing.
Okay. Because it's more, first of all, your idea is more complicated, because you have to explain the existence of a green turtle.
So if it's complicated, it's probably not true. Is that what you're saying?
No, it just makes it harder to explain.
It's not, look, theory of relativity. Do you think everyone else, in fact those who are not physicists and not have studied this, it's easy for them to explain it?
Well,
just because you can't explain it doesn't make it's not true.
Well, Einstein said everything should be able to be explained to a barmaid, so...
So theory of relativity from Einstein is not a real theory. In fact, it's not true because it's difficult to explain.
No, that's not, no.
Then don't talk about complexity and difficulty in explanation. So just because something is complex, it doesn't make the claim that it's not true. So why is your claim that nothing can produce something? Have you seen any evidence in this world where this is happening? Okay. Nothing produces something.
Well, I'm told that we see very similar evidence when we get to the subatomic particles.
What similar? It comes from something?
Yes.
So you haven't got anything similar?
We see very odd properties of the subatomic particles.
But it doesn't come from nothing, so you haven't seen anything similar?
No.
Have you seen anything similar at all where nothing generates something in our reality?
Not yet.
Right. So you basically, your speculation about the universe came from nothing is merely a speculation with nothing to back up with.
It's got like a signpost, like a couple of miles back, that says, go towards nothingness.
I don't get it at all.
Okay, so nothingness is the most basic state. If you go up from there...
Nothingness is the most basic state. Why?
I mean, it's like the most default position.
That's why I asked you. And what did you say to the answer to this question?
You were implying that nothingness would therefore lead to always nothingness.
I didn't say anything. I asked you what was the default position. Shouldn't nothingness be the default position? If there was nothing to begin with, shouldn't always be nothing?
No.
Okay, so what makes nothing generate something?
The fact that it's not a stable state.
Now you're going to Professor Lawrence Krauss's theories. So you're familiar with a little bit of his theories. Why is it not stable? Is there just nothing there? When you say it's not stable, what makes it unstable?
The lack of rules and structure.
But there is nothing there to be unstable of, or to be stable of. It's simply non-existence of anything. Any particles, any space, any matter, any energy. It's simply nothing there to have any kind of stability or instability.
No, that's what you would imagine, yeah?
It's not imagining it, that's how it is. Because nothing is nothing.
But the instruments that we use to imagine things are very crude, yeah? They've evolved for X, Y, and Z.
So are you saying nothing is not nothing?
No, I'm saying that
nothing has something within it.
No, I'm saying nothingness is not a stable state.
You can't say it's not a stable state because nothingness is simply nothing.
You can't redefine nothing. You can't redefine nothing.
Well, how would you define nothing?
It's already nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, but you're not agreeing when you're talking to him. You're saying that there's unstable laws or lack of laws. That means there's very few laws.
No, nothing. It's just nothing.
So the question of instability doesn't apply because it simply has nothing in it.
Yeah, it's not unstable. It's just non-existent.
Yeah, well, I'm not producing a physics paper here, yeah? I'm just giving you what
But
I...
give us a rational explanation of your position. Because you said you don't believe there is a God. Yeah, there is no God. You made a positive claim that God doesn't exist. What is your evidence for the non-existence of God?
I haven't really got any evidence.
So it's your belief
Whatever his
that God doesn't
argument is.
exist.
His side will come out the best. Whatever happens, the comments they'll say is that you've been defeated in your argument.
Do you know any?
It's all an ego thing, you know. Yeah.
Do you know?
To make something happen.
Do you know anything about the
Something makes
quantum destabilization? Just things springing out from nothing.
I just
It does occur. You
It's coming here.
particles and antiparticles appear from nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming. I'm in a debate that I haven't been in, so I don't know what in context we're talking about.
Do you know any of the latest published physics papers?
Not really. I'm just living a real life, basically, and seeing that this so-called supreme being doesn't appear to be here. That's what I'm living, a real life.
No.
Seeing that this doesn't seem to make sense, any of this God thing. Ultimately. And it
There
hasn't
is
done.
one principle
And it's very logical.
scientists,
reasons why it doesn't
philosophers
make
will
sense.
agree on. That something
I'm gonna
cannot
leave you with
come
the
from
argument.
nothingness.
Don't
You need to
Something
read more about this.
Sorry, I didn't hear the thing.
Whatever he
Something
says,
cannot
channel
come from
will
absolute
make it as if
nothingness.
he lost the
Well, that's
argument.
your opinion.
It's not about my opinion. Find me one individual
It's so biased, the
scholar
whole thing, you know, it's ridiculous.
who thinks this is the case and the
Lawrence-
reasons why this is the
Lawrence
case.
Gross.
No, he doesn't say nothing is nothing.
What does he say?
So basically, again, you have not read his
Okay, what does
book or his lectures. You have studied it. His nothing is something.
Okay. Well, what is his something in the nothing?
You should ask him. He explains it in the book, actually. He explains his nothing in his book. Yeah, there's quantum fluctuations. So there are things within this nothing. So his nothing is not the philosopher's nothing, where it's absolute nothingness. So I understand and appreciate how he may have misled many people, and yourself included, because the universe came from nothing, and everyone thinks, yeah, there you go. The universe came from nothing. This is very misleading. And I think you need to come clean and say, look, the universe didn't come from nothing, it came from something, and my something is a little bit like something that you know of, but it didn't come from nothing. Yeah? So, apart from him, and including him because he doesn't believe something came from nothing, you cannot find a person, a scholar, who will give you reasons and arguments or evidence where something can come from nothingness.
Oh, okay.
So if something is here,
You gotta ask someone.
if something is here now, then there cannot be absolute nothingness ever in the past. There has to be always something.
Well, I've seen other people reason with very simple things like that. That's just far too simple to reason.
That's the only rational explanation. If you are a rational person, this is something that you will hold to be making sense. If you say something is here, but yet at one point there's absolute nothingness, then you're saying nothingness generated something, which is bizarre.
No. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so brilliant.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
If I told you this camera just popped into existence from nothing,
Yeah.
you believe, right? You would accept it. Of course you would. Because you accept that something can come from nothingness.
I think
Why not?
That's what my framework was establishing. Yeah. The framework was that we can't know before the universe. Yeah? So we do need an explanation, such as the universe came from nothing.
That's not an explanation.
We need that explanation.
No, that is not an explanation. The universe began to exist. Something to begin to exist, it can't self-exist itself. It cannot self-begin. It cannot somehow become into existence by itself. Because prior to that, it was nothing. It didn't have the energy, the will, the consciousness for it to do something. Because it didn't have any of those things.
Muslim pushed it over.
There's a science of the gaps to say that it was nothing. Things formed from nothing. You know, they say go to the gaps to fill it up. That's what
Must
it
be
is.
something
when you
behind
say
it to
nothing.
exist.
Think about it. Think about it.
Well, I think you're
Reason
all
with
totally
it.
wrong. And
No, you have to give us the reasons why you're wrong and help us to understand why this is wrong.
Okay, because when we get to the limits of our knowledge and our ability to understand things, we need answers such as things just popped into existence. That's one placeholder.
No, you don't.
Yeah? You don't?
Why?
Because otherwise
Why
you're...
are you going to start assuming things when your knowledge starts getting limited? That's ignorant.
Because you need footing, you need guidance, you need stability. Otherwise you'll just be floating all the whole time. And I mean this in a thought way. Do you understand what I say there? Okay. It would endlessly annoy you, yeah? As I was trying to explain to the other person, how did the planets and sun come into existence? That's what he wanted to say, yeah? If you explain that, then the next one, it falls to the next one, doesn't it? Or how does the galaxy come into existence? How does the universe, yeah? And then if you don't have an answer such as it came into existence, you just get stuck there.
What was the cause of our universe? Because it came into existence. What caused it?
Hey, just jump into existence.
No, what caused
But
it?
were you saying that?
It's an effect, right? Jumping into existence, jumping is an effect. What was the cause?
You can change that to popped into existence.
But yeah, popping in
It has no
into
cause. It
existence
has no
is an
cause.
effect. What was the cause?
It had no cause, it just happened.
So the effect proceeded without a cause. Do you see anything in reality that, with no cause, things just happen?
The theory goes that we're under the laws of time, which cause causation. Without the laws of time, you would have no causation.
Your model of your universe,
Yes.
that it popped into existence, what caused that popping in? What caused that jumping in?
No, it just happened.
So
According to
basically,
what?
you're
According
saying
to what?
the
You're basing
only
that-
explanation which makes sense
you're
is
basing that on
it
what?
just is. It just happened.
Yeah, I'm basing that on the elegance of it. It's just such a nice idea. And then second,
If it's nice, doesn't mean it's true.
I agree. And then secondly, the universe gets very strange when we look down into the deep downwards, yeah? So the more, I think it guides us towards that answer. That's what I think it guides us towards.
Based on what?
Based on Stephen Hawking's idea, and the idea that laws don't exist before the universe, so therefore causality doesn't exist. And also, the conservation of energy doesn't exist. So
Conservation of energy comes from where?
they're laws,
Right.
yeah?
So you're saying the laws are operating in our universe,
Yeah, you
and
can-
yet there are no laws beforehand. How do you come to this conclusion?
Well, yeah, it's not a physics paper that I'm reading. Of
It's
course,
just a discussion.
yeah. So it's just a nice idea. It's just such a good idea.
No. Your idea needs to be something sensible. Otherwise, people will say, just trust the idea.
I would say a nice idea is to believe that there was a cause.
And what do you think the cause was?
Like a cause that's like all powerful, much greater energy than the energy that was created, something that had intelligence, design, right? Like based on what we see in common sense in everyday life, then to suddenly jump back and say, oh yeah, it just came from nothing.
Oh shit. Oh, he's just got you on the alliance.
No, but I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
It's cold. You can see it's cold, man.
Oh, I bet. I just say one point. I'd say the problem with that idea is it develops from the human mind.
What mind do you want? I
don't know. I mean,
for us to understand, it has to come from the human mind, right?
Take care, man. Go sit in the car. Don't drive off, though.
So always you have the key for the tortoise.
No, it's the car.
Car.
I said you could go to.
Maybe you're not phrasing it properly.
No, yeah, that's what I do. So imagine like a lion, yeah? It has perception vision, so it can think, yeah? It also has a hierarchy, so it doesn't eat its cubs or whatever. So their biological, psychological thought process. The language of the universe is mathematics and physics. So your idea, an all-powerful thing, that's a very human story. It's a very human story. It's a human story. It's made out of our mind. Our mind
But
is
where does maths and physics come from?
our mind.
Our minds, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
You're trying to say it sounds like a made-up story by human emotions.
Yes.
You're not saying human intellect. But that's not true, because it makes more sense for the Earth, everything we have, to have come from a cause than to not have come from a cause. universe.
Okay.
From nothing, because nothing, you've got nothing to justify it.
Okay.
Like we use our brains, and then as soon as we get to God, everyone just becomes dumb, and just it all breaks apart.
Yeah. But
But you see, you can't justify it.
no, I totally agree. If you want to put ourselves on equal ground here, you're talking about the cause of the universe. I've said it's just a nice idea. It's got signposts that say it. What's your idea for the cause of the universe?
Something that has intelligence, who creates the laws, something all powerful, something that has greater energy than we have in this universe.
Doesn't that just get defeated simply by the argument? Where did that come from?
No, it doesn't. Because it can always be there, right? Listen. Because if you say who created that, and you keep saying that, you go to infinity and nothing will ever happen.
So we're sort of in the same boat, actually.
No, yeah, but I am using common sense, saying that there must have been a cause that caused everything, right?
And I'm
but
saying-
you're saying it's nothing.
And I'm saying it's wrong to use common sense.
Oh, it's wrong to use common sense.
Yeah.
So in your everyday life, you don't use
I can't discuss anything with you then.
No. Because it's wrong to use any common sense speaking to you. Isn't it?
There's two different things here. If you want to know how to run a society or whatever, yeah, use common sense, yeah.
When it comes to religion,
No, if you want to explain where the universe came from, use mathematics and physics.
but
and that's
mathematics is not common sense.
1 + 1 = 2 is not common sense.
They're different things, yeah.
No, they're not.
They are.
They're not. Common sense and maths go very well together. You have to have common sense to do maths.
You're familiar with the infinite regress problem.
Yes.
Right. So if the universe came into existence, there cannot be infinite causes for the universe, right? There has to be a cause which is the first cause.
Well, why do you think that applies?
Because it makes sense.
Because it doesn't make sense, something pops into existence and the explanation is, it just is. Then anyone can explain anything with this, it just is. It's the way it is. The universe came from a flying spaghetti monster, it just is. It came from a green turtle, it just is. All of this explanation, you would have nothing to counter. You'd say, that is the only explanation that I can offer. It just is. But this is not how science operates. Our mind operates, is it?
No, if you want to settle
So
that.
why are you now realizing this universe? Something that exists. You somehow want to give it non-existence, no cause for this universe. Is it possibly, if there is a creator for this universe, that means there must be a reason why the universe was created by this creator. That means you must have a purpose in your life, but you want to roam free, totally free and with this liberty to do everything that you do, rather than part of an organized religion. These are the common obstacles that we find when speaking to people like who say there is no God, when they themselves admit, when we say there is no God, we have no evidence for it, it's a belief system. And that belief stems from this.
I'll actually totally agree, yeah. That's totally true. You said my wantingness for there to be no God and for it to spring out of existence is my attachment to freedom. I want to be able to walk around and do whatever the hell I like. Yeah? But yeah, that's true. But you must agree then, we're still on the same foot, yeah? You can't explain the universe through your ways, which is just, you want to be part of an organised religion with a purpose.
We just said the universe
and I
came
want
from
that.
something which is possessor of more energy, which makes sense. It came from something rather than nothing. So our position is more rational, sensible, reasonable. Your position is it just is. If you want to say just is a better explanation for everything, you should write a physics paper with this explanation for anything and see whether you can get it just through the peer review process. It will never happen in your lifetime or anyone's lifetime unless it's in one of these journals which doesn't need peer reviews.
So what do you reckon there ever will be a physics paper that sort of gets widely accepted as the creation of the universe?
Physics papers discussing about the origin of our cosmos.
Are they?
Oh, you're not familiar with any of them?
No, I think I understand the question. Did you say are they? Did
I'm saying people are talking about the origin of our cosmos,
Yes.
of our universe.
Yeah.
Explanations about whether there's a Big Bang, whether there's a multiplicity of Big Bang and Big Crunches. Yeah? And they're talking about multi-universes, so people are talking about it in the physics papers and other journals. Are you familiar with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the book that he brought, the Quran? Have you read it?
A little bit.
Okay. When this book says, Did they come from nothingness? أم خلقوا من غير شيء.
No, I asked, would there ever be a physics paper that gets widely accepted in peer-reviewed journals as the correct answer for the origins of the universe?
Big Bang is there in the Quran too.
When we have sufficient enough knowledge to conclude something,
Yeah.
people will, put forward and accept it. There are many things in science now that are accepted as what? Facts.
Yeah.
So when something becomes of that nature in our knowledge base, people will accept it.
That's what I mean. So until then, I'll just believe that it came from nothing.
Based on what? Based on nothing to back up with.
No. I've got a little bit of understanding of physics, and I think physics is pointing us in that direction.
Physics is grounded on certain principles. Where
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
The universe is rational.
Yeah.
Rational, right?
Yeah.
That yes, our energy
I agree.
cannot be created or destroyed.
I agree. So what you're saying?
No, you agree and yet then you disagree, saying no, energy can be created. Energy can come from nothing.
Yeah. So
So it's not coming from your physics background, does it?
yeah, it does because of this. So I said physics is pointing us in that direction. And I said,
Where is physics pointing to the direction where energy can come from nothingness?
well, one of the ideas is the lack of rules and structure.
Lack of rules and structure is something that you are assuming.
Yes.
Based on what?
That the more we strip away, the more we see weird things happen.
You're assuming there was no rules from which our universe came.
Yeah, see.
Based on what? You have nothing to go by.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
So assumptions upon assumption upon assumption, and you think that's going to eventually somehow justify your position that the universe came from nothing, partly on your assumptions.
No, I'm saying physics points us in that direction.
No, physics is not pointing in that direction.
No?
Physics cannot operate unless it is within these rules and boundaries. The physical laws and physical constants constrain us from going into this direction. Do you know all of physical constants, which are more than accurate, more than 22nd decimal places, how accurate they are? And you're thinking, no, there are no rules beyond our universe. Based on what? This whole universe points to rules, regulations, regularities. And yet somehow you see no, you go to the opposite. You go opposite.
Do you know of evolution?
Evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution of the universe.
No, of species, animals.
No, that's much later. We're not going to go, thousands and millions and billions of later what happened. Let's talk about the origin of the cosmos. Because one other thing though, this is something for you to understand. When atheists are confronted to explain their belief, they find a comfort zone in evolution. Because they realize believers don't accept the model of evolution that is presented by the Darwinian, for example. Okay? And they somehow point the whole discussion to this evolution. This is just a ploy to somehow redirect the whole discussion at hand. Right? Whether I believe in evolution or not evolution, it's not going to solve the problem of the origin of the universe. It's not. So we need to stick to our understanding of the origin of our universe.
The reason why I brought up evolution is you said, look around yourself and look how it's all been handcrafted, yeah? So then I said, no, actually, look at evolution and see how it's been, by happen chance, came into existence.
Chance? Is there such a thing as chance?
Are you asking it like a philosophical statement?
No, there is no such thing as chance. There is no thing as chance.
What are you saying?
Give me an example of a chance.
If I flip a coin.
If you flip over a coin, and if I told you every single time it's a head or a tail, would that be chance?
That would be, from my perspective, very odd.
It's not odd, it's because I will show you. If I did, then it's not by chance. If you flip a coin, and the coin is of a certain weight and shape, and of certain metals, right? Certain texture. There is certain humidity and temperature around, wind speed, the height of it as it falls to the ground, the impacts on, the texture of it, right? Gravity, of course. If you have all the factors into equation, you can predict with 100% certainty it will be head or tail, or on one of the sides. So it was not chance at all. It was your ignorance of those factors associated with it.
Steady on. See what I mean by common sense can fail us, yeah? Because that sounds highly rational, doesn't it? But Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, you must all know of this. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
Yeah. And what does it mean? If it's uncertain, it means what?
It's inherent randomness within our universe. Inherent randomness within the universe.
This uncertainty principle, that itself is certain that there's uncertainty, right?
No. The uncertainty principle more ties to. Like,
Are you certain there's uncertainty principle?
No.
The surety that this uncertainty principle exists. So it's like a law.
You sort of suggest.
It's like a law already. So you're saying this law of uncertainty exists in a particular domain. So there you go. It's a particular law.
Yeah. You sort of hinted that you know a little bit about physics.
No, I'm listening to the argument and trying to understand it from a neutral perspective, and I'm just thinking, where is it making more sense? And trying to be fair to you and to him. And to me, it just sounds like when where your argument sort of comes crashing down is when you say the universe appears from nothing, and then you say, well, that's what physics is pointing to. But physics itself is about laws and about scientific, whereas you saying the universe coming from nothing doesn't, move with the laws.
There's a few one. I saw a clip on Facebook.
It's like it's a cop-out situation. Where I'm not saying you are right or wrong, but to me it's what it just sounds like. Trying to take it from trying to be neutral here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a physicist, or I don't know much about. Although I'm Muslim, I don't know much about the argument just doesn't seem strong. That's all. I mean, it's not like trying to bring you down for any or just for the reason, but just trying to understand the argument and see if there's any scientific basis to your argument. And it just seems like it's a bit weak.
Okay.
I don't know if you feel it's weak yourself.
No. I really like the argument because it's so simple, and like I say,
So it doesn't make it right, does it?
No. But it's just very useful, and also it does sort of follow the lines of our current physics. Yeah. So you said physics is about establishing the laws and then following the laws through. But what if you ask a question? What happens if you start stripping away the laws?
Maybe like
what is that a subject?
Still exists even in quantum mechanical world. You cannot go beyond your laws. The laws are operating within our universe. That's a given fact.
Yes.
This is the reality. So you cannot postulate from that there are no laws, because that's going totally against what you've observed within this reality, and you're going against it. So basically, you want to somehow believe in something, your position, which goes in line with your thinking. That I want to be free. I don't want to be under a religion. I don't want to believe in God, because God means responsibility. God means accountability. God means there might be another world hereafter. There might be heaven or hell. That's might be the reasons why you don't want to go with the rational explanation, and you are happy with your explanation.
Rational one?
Well, the rational argument was what he was saying, that there must have been a force which with a higher power or more energy than what's in the universe that created it. That's what his argument leads to. Whereas your one is just stops at, well, it came from nothing.
When you leave it halfway, they do your head.
So, do you understand that point?
Yeah.
You understand that point. So, I mean, so despite that, you still believe that it came from nothing. Is that what you stand by, just for the sake of it, or sake of the argument, or is it that you can accept his point of view?
Yeah, I actually think we travel quite a lot of ground, yeah. That idea that I'm attached to this.
That there is a creator, that there is a possibility that there is a creator, and that in itself is quite a solid argument. Can you not accept that argument?
No. No, I really can't.
You don't believe it?
No, I just can't accept that argument.
Does it not make any logical sense to you that there is a creator?
Yeah, it makes a lot of.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like a story.
Story.
Yeah.
No,
Well, no, I mean there's logic. There's a logical basis. It's logical to conclude that there is a creator. It is logical to conclude that there is a creator. So why can you not accept that argument, whereas yours is actually quite illogical?
Because the logic of it, you can't use logic is a very rigid system. Yeah? So to explain something like it's just far too simple. You can't just say, the logical correct answer is yes, creator. But you're saying it sounds kind of right with the structures that you're using.
Well, it's not. It sounds right. It's just more logical. Even mathematically, it comes to a conclusion. Whether you want to say it's wrong, but what you can conclude that there is a more powerful force that was the creator of the universe.
No.
There was a more
Shamsi
powerful
needs it.
force, and you may be able to argue, where did this force come from? I mean, that's maybe a different argument.
I would just say no. I don't believe that the correct logical assumption is that someone created it. That's just a story. That's just one version. Like, what
See, if you are happy with nothing can make something, then in your everyday life, be consistent. Because I have yet to meet a person who's consistent in this. Because when it comes to only the explanation of the universe, they grant that yes, it came from nothing. But everything else, for example, everything else, your phones, your coat, your work, your money, yes, perhaps you should have believed, you have a wallet, and you might believe that money just comes into my pocket from nothing. Yeah? Why don't you believe that? You should believe that. You should believe that, you know what, one day I'll just have a nice family and wealth and whatever. It just pops into existence from nothing. Whole thing, in fact, a whole building comes into existence from nothing. That's your house. Your car pops into existence from nothing. Why not? Because it doesn't have to gradually go through the process of evolution. Certain metals come together. No, a whole car can pop into existence from nothing because there is no rules. But you don't believe in any of that. In fact, your complexion in your face tells you that these stories you'll never believe and you'll accept. But the only story you'll accept is the universe came from nothing because you don't want to believe in a creator. That's what makes you believe in that.
Okay.
So your heart needs to be checked for its intention. Because it seems to be your intention is guiding your understanding of the reality.
Okay. So that was like a little, not a character assassination, not so much so, but more like a psychological analysis of me. You want my beliefs to be in line and all checked and in order. I am free to believe in whatever the hell I like. Yeah?
You're free to believe the moon is made out of cheese.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it true, does it?
No.
Right. So what we're discussing is be a rational person where we look at our evidence, look at our argumentation, and see which is a reasonable position to take.
Yeah.
To believe that nothing generates something doesn't seem to be anything but irrational.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you want to believe in irrationality, if you want to believe in that, just like the moon is made out of cheese, you're more than welcome to believe in it.
Yeah,
no one's going to stop you from believing it.
Yeah, well, thank
but what we're only saying is, in real life,
Yes.
we are constantly applying our logic and rationality for everything else. Yet, when it comes to this area, we suppress our intellect.
Well, let's just say, let's go back to real life, yeah? In real life they have universities, yeah? And we try and send the smartest people to universities, and we try and ask them the hardest questions, yeah? And we try and get all the people to collaborate and come up with the best answers.
They've already come up with best answers. Have you read any of the philosophical works where they discuss the arguments for the proof of God?
No.
And have you studied those works? You just says no, obviously you haven't. So you haven't really reasoned against their arguments. Why they consider God to exist?
Well, I've likely come across them in common whatever.
Remember, when you say common whatsoever in your ordinary thinking and superficial understanding of reality, if you're going to really believe that God doesn't exist, then what are your solid argumentation for it? It seems like your argument for it is, it just is.
I'm going to give the answer now. What it is, with humans, sometimes you can, you don't always need to reason with another human being or groups of human beings to sometimes know what is true to you as a person. You sometimes go with what your instinct and what your feeling tells you. So sometimes I might reason with you and you would expect a solid argument, foundational argument from me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to, I'm losing what I'm trying to say. I don't really need to give you a solid argument for my beliefs because my belief is exclusive to me. So you're expecting that from me just because you feel that's what's necessary. But really, each individual doesn't need to express himself like that to get endorsement from other person. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Maybe you feel an argument that I will give you is the right now for you to obviously come and debate with me and say, well, you're wrong or you're right. But still it falls down to your opinion or a group of people's opinion, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. So again, with me, I've never really felt I need to have another man come and preach to me about what his belief is. I just go what makes me feel comfortable. And everything as well boils down to something which is, at the end, there has to be an end game, an end goal to it. And when we talk about religion, a lot of people's religion or beliefs is to do with being saved at the end, or being sent to paradise. And if you don't believe, it's going to be hell and fire. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So a lot of it is to do with people also being scared when they believe in something. Scared to leave it and say, no, all right, I don't think that's true anymore. Because you're taking away the existence of that person to some extent. If you just suddenly say now you're Muslim, for instance, and then someone, convinces you to say no, and then you decide, all right, fair enough, when you wake up in the morning, you say, hold on a minute, I feel empty now because I'm not a Muslim anymore. What do I do? I'm lost. You understand what I'm trying to say?
What you've said so far is this: you do not need endorsement from someone else about your own faith. It's exclusively to you. That's fine, but the problem is, with our faith system that we have, we interact with people, and it affects the broader reality. For example, if you have the faith that white people are the devil and they should be, really sorted out, your faith will manifest into actions of discrimination against the white people. You might be even killing them, right? In one extreme. So that is not just simply saying someone has to endorse your belief to be correct to your own self, but that belief could be something dangerous for the world. So if you say, I believe that everyone can have their own religion, whatever, fine, that is saying, yeah, you have your own belief. But that's not what we're discussing. We are discussing about the reality of our universe, right? Does God exist or not? So if God doesn't exist, we would like to know what is the evidence for it. If your evidence is, it just is, then, what's the point to discuss anything? There's no discussion to take place. We are discussing and trying to understand each other. This gentleman, for example,
We have to go by your source.
he believes.
That's right.
He believes in certain things, right?
Yes.
Okay. So no one's going to endorse his belief to say this is right or wrong. But if he's going to now try to say, look, this is how everyone should believe, and this is how the world is, and everyone should support his belief, then the discussion needs to be taking place.
But that's what you try and do, isn't it?
No. Do you know
With
what
your
I just
belief.
said?
No, but you do.
You know what
Could you say you have
do you
the
disagree with it? Understand what I said?
Okay.
If your belief is going to have effects on someone else,
We need to reshuffle the conversation. Reatone. We need to reatone. Take two.
So if you don't believe whatever you believe, like the moon is made out of cheese, like I suppose to this gentleman, it's up to you. But the reality is something different from your subjective understanding of the thing. Because there is something called subjectivity and something called objectivity. Objective reality, what we're trying to understand. Okay? So we want to come to a common ground where we understand how things work. Science is that tool, for example, one of those tools where we have a common ground with and we accept that. This is how, with this science, you're able to have all of these facilities that are you're enjoying. So when it comes to the existence of our universe, we have to have a common ground. Did the universe come from absolute nothingness, or did it come from Yeah, of course.
That's proven by science.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to speak to the gentleman earlier on. There is nothing. There's no such thing as nothingness.
It's the absence of something.
No, there's no such thing as nothing. There's always something there. Other frequency, pure energy.
Why can't you just get rid of everything?
Huh?
Why can't you just get rid of everything?
You can't get rid of anything. That's like saying, let's get rid of space. The space you're in, you can't even imagine it. Can you imagine no space? Okay, what's it look like?
It's just nothing.
No, what's that nothing look like? You must have an idea what it looks like.
It's just nothing.
Is it a blank white space or blank black space?
No, it's just nothing.
No, what's it look like?
It's just nothing.
No, but you must have an idea of what it looks like. If
It's just empty. It's just one big black.
but if it's black, that's still a state. Yeah, but if it's black, it's
You just said it. If it's black, it's something already.
It's a state.
Yeah,
You can't get rid of
That's
space.
because it's nothing.
No. But
Why is nothing black?
Isn't nothing.
Why is nothing black?
Because you've got light.
No, then you got it wrong again. Because right now you look up at night, you see little stars, you see blackness. Science say there's dark matter, dark energy. It's still a state.
When we go to sleep, what do we see? We have a dream, we have our thoughts, we think things, right?
Yeah, but those are states.
Yeah.
But those are still. But like you don't have any period where there's nothing. You either have something, or you have dreams, or you have a blankness. It's still a state of blankness. There's no such thing as nothing because you can't imagine it. If you can't imagine it, it's hearsay.
That's one of the reasons I brought to you the attention of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Quran. Because when you were to read and investigate this book, you will see how it interacts with you, reasons with you, and it will ask you why are you in a position that you're in. So I give you an example of the Quran says, did things, okay? Did you come from absolute nothingness? Did you create yourself? Did you create the universe, the heavens and the earth? Honestly, you didn't. And the Quran ends it by saying, you have no firm faith. And that's the position.
It's a good point, but scientifically.
Anyway, what's the
To see more videos like this, subscribe to Titans TV down below. Thanks.
The greatest darky that bite with shark teeth and hate malarkey. Who you? The greatest heartbeat. Ancient Egypt as a matriarchy. Who me? The one with the S on his chest when the motherfucker go by. Who you? The one everybody calls your highness cause the weed got you feeling so high.